This meeting of the Board of Trustees is called to order at 6:02 p.m. We have a quorum with Carlos Bustillos, Richard Cudier, Sotero Ramirez, Cruz Ochoa, Mike Rosales, and myself, Connie Woodruff. Catherine Lucetto is running late. Trustee Rosales, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States. Dr. Delatorre, do you have any reports this evening?
We've got our internal auditor, Champagne's with us this evening in the event that any of the trustees would like to express any concerns or ask any questions. I can make her available.
Do we have any questions about the internal
She's a
audit?
little tired. She was
Good
in
evening,
Taipei for a week.
everybody.
That is super neat that she got
She
to
was
be
a little
there.
professional development. How many time zones? 11?
16 hours.
16 hours a week.
Yeah, so now it's 6 p.m., right? It's 8 a.m. in Taiwan.
Tuesday.
In Taiwan,
Is it Tuesday or Monday?
it's Tuesday.
Will you ask them who won the Dodgers game tonight?
No,
I've got a bet.
that's not. Never mind.
How was it? Good?
It was very good. It was very good. We did not hit any typhoon. I was very worried.
No
because
typhoons?
Typhoons, yes. So it was good weather and very good visit. Visit to 2 schools, and one, it's very similar to our Alicia Chacon. It's a bilingual school. We teach Chinese, but they teach English instead.
Oh, neat.
Bilingual. And the other one has elementary school, but has the astronomy set up just like NASA. A room like this big with all the rooms, and little kids run the things, and it's built on the hills. So
Oh, up on the hills?
gym, it's on the 5th floor.
Oh, wow.
But it's the kids all have to go stairs to run up. And
Just not.
very interesting, different curriculum. Anybody has any question on this
Oh,
You have
package?
a new family member in the department, we understand.
Yes, yes. We have Fernando Ramirez join us right here. He came from city of Anthony.
From where?
you can go on.
City of Anthony in New Mexico.
Oh,
New Mexico, yes. But he lives in our district.
How long has he been with you?
1 week.
It's like dog years, by the way, just so you know. It will accelerate.
Don't scare him.
I'm not. It's champagne.
We're going to work well. He has
Very
very
nice to
strong
meet you.
financial background
Very
and
nice. to meet
financial audit background too. So should be very good.
Mr. Ramirez has a question.
Yes.
The question is, it's actually not for you, Champagne. I wanted to direct it to Dr. Latorre. And it's actually not a question, it's a request, because I didn't give you enough advance notice on it. For the next month's meeting, do you think it's possible that we could talk about, as we get closer to the end of the bond and starting to wrap things up? We have some things like Townsend, the Townsend contract and things like that, and I'd like to see where we're at on that and what we needed to do to begin
We
that
just
process.
received a Townsend, or not a contract, but an analysis, right? And we're coming to the end of the bond, and Champagne and I were on the same flight last night back from LAX and talked a little bit about that.
Yes.
And we're coming to the end. Just kind of an update, kind of wrap up some projects, things like that.
Yes. Yes. I should have the audit update 6, bond audit update 6, if not this week, next week, ready for everybody to take a look. And then I just received Townsend's close-up audit on bands BP 15 Benz.
Which one is bond project 15? That's not Parkland, is it?
Parkland Middle School,
It is.
BP 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we finished alternates about January or February.
Okay.
And since then, we've been working with them to get documents. And so now this one is a draft for close audit, so you can take a look and see the comments
In November?
today, not November.
No, I mean, when you would be able to present the conclusions.
Oh, you mean for Townsend to present or for us to
No,
present?
just for the board to get a report and share it with the board, and then address any concerns or comments by the board on the Baines work?
You mean for this audit report, for the bank's audit report?
Yes.
Okay. We can arrange to see if you want me to do it, if you want them to do it, we can arrange that.
I think we prefer if you would present
Maybe in
for them.
November, just kind of review their report and then give the board sort of a thumbnail sketch as to basically their points of interest, findings, conclusions, things like that.
Okay.
This is Parkland Middle School, right?
Parkland Middle School, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that one, I think the construction finish all the alternates sometime in February or March of this year. The Parkland Middle School itself finished, I think, last
Yeah, I was gonna say,
November or
it's,
December.
2 years ago.
Not 2 years ago.
I think it was.
But with all the alternates, I think it's this February.
Yeah, it wasn't this fall, it was the previous fall.
So it is.
Yeah, November or December.
We moved in August of 2017, then completed the admin.
Yeah,
So it's 1
I don't
year.
remember, yes.
But that's the fall of 17. Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Yes. Okay, so I'll work with everybody to see the November workshop.
Yeah, or workshop or regular meeting of the board. Just to see how it went.
Okay, all right.
And Baines is also doing our multi-story coliseum or complex at Bel Air.
That's right.
Yes. Okay,
Any other questions for
but let me
Champagne?
clear, you want Townsend to come and, or you want me to go over with you all?
Just you. You received the report.
Yes.
We thought we'd let you review it, create a summary or synopsis, get the summary and synopsis to Ms. Leeper, and then to the board.
Okay,
And
Yeah.
if there's something that gets your attention or causes you concern, share it with the board, please.
Yes.
I don't anticipate that, but just help us out.
okay, I will do that. Any other areas?
Looks like that's all. Thank you very much, Ms. Champagne.
Okay,
Thank you, Champagne.
Thanks.
Go home, get some rest.
Absolutely, after that trip. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Delatorre. Now we will discuss our agenda items as listed in the posted notice of the regular meeting of Ysleta ISD Board of Trustees for October 17th, 2018, and related recommended motions with the superintendent and executive cabinet, and receive responses to questions and or requests for additional information through the superintendent in preparation for deliberation and action on said items at the October 17th, 2018 regular Board of Trustees meeting. So we'll go straight to the consent items. And everybody has received this little addendum thing here, this little blue sheet. The reason you received that is because of the date on the top of this is correcting a date that was in the attachment for the, that was sent out to the board as a board book. Instead of August 15th,
Correct. August 15th, it's now replaced by September 12th.
September the 12th. So that's the reason why you received this, change. The information itself is the same, but the date is different. So that's consent item number 1, minutes for the Board of Trustees regular meeting September 12th,
I do have a question.
okay. September 10th, August 13th, July 27th, June 18, January 18. And Mr. Ramirez has a question.
I think I'm going to direct the question to Ms. Austin. Ms. Austin, I'm kind of curious. We're doing minutes of the board training and workshop with Cabinet on July 27th. That was kind of our board retreat. Did we actually take minutes of that? I mean, we have an agenda that we followed, but did we actually take minutes of that?
I believe we were going to address those minutes like we do other workshops, since it's, since there's no action taken, we just report that the meeting opened, closed, the way we do any workshop, just that it was posted, who attended, and when it was adjourned.
Okay, well, that suffices or meets the law, I guess?
Right, because the minutes are primarily to document if any action was taken.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions on that one? Okay. Moving on to consent item number 2, monthly financial update for August 2018. Consent item number 3, apply for class size waiver through the Texas Education Agency to allow certain K through 4, or is that K through 4?
Yes, ma'am.
Classes to exceed the 22 to 1 ratio.
I have a question on that.
Go ahead, Mr. Ochoa.
This is a waiver for this whole year?
Yes, sir.
And then how many students are we asking to be placed in that?
So we had this very situation today. We were out at Capistrano Elementary School, and what happens is in some of the upper grades, 4, 5, or 6, in some schools, they exceed what we think is ideal, 24 to 1, but they only exceed it by 1 or 2 students, sometimes 3 students. So we have the decision to make, and that is, do we take 2 classes that could be at 27 to 1, 28 to 1, and then hire another teacher, reduce the class size at the 3rd section, and try to create a 3rd class size? Because what you basically do is you take all of your 4th grade students or all of your 5th grade students and you divide it by 3. But sometimes when you do that, you get class sizes of 9, 11, 12, and it can get very expensive across the district. So in some cases, when we have a strong teacher or a strong school, a strong program, we go ahead and ask the state to allow us to have 3 more than we should have in this particular section, or 2 more than we should have in this particular section. And it appears that we've got these large class sizes.
Here's your list.
Oh, there's my list. So, for example, at Cedar Grove, first, you're over by 1. Most of them are over by 1. I don't think many of them exceed over by 3. But if we were to create another section, for example, for a 20 to 1, right, and you're over by 1, if you add another teacher, you're going to divide them all up by, say, 4 teachers, and all of them are going to end up with a class of about 9 or 10 kids,
Right.
which is cost prohibitive. So that's what we try to do here.
I just wanted to know what the threshold was after the 22. You say it's 1 or 2,
So we do it in the aggregate.
right?
So like if it's 2 or 3, but there's 4 class sections, we may go ahead and hire another teacher because you'd have 3 times 4. You'd at least get 12 students. But even if you just have 1 more than you're supposed to have, you
Yeah,
have
we
to
need
apply
the
for the waiver.
Yeah, I just didn't want it to be taken upon and
Yeah.
add 5 or 6 more.
No.
No, and in fact, Mr. Ramirez asked that very question today at Capistrano to try and
good.
understand, because we don't want them to have the 26s and the 27s and the 28s in the 4th and the 5th grade. So,
Yeah, okay, just wanted to check on that.
no, you're absolutely right.
Thank you.
Okay. Action item, consent item number 4, cooperative purchasing contracts. Consent item number 5, approval of award of YSD cooperative requisition number 8451 for purchase of annual maintenance and support for Tyler Muniz. Number 6, approval of YSD contract number 201-90082, interlocal agreement with El Paso County Juvenile Board. Consent item number 7, ratification of award of YSD contract number 201-90012 with Sul Ross State University.
Excuse me, Ms. Woodruff?
Yes.
That item's going to be pulled and put to the November.
Okay.
I apologize for not alerting you to that earlier. Number 7, with Sol Ross.
Did you say pulled for another time or?
It should come back in November, but
Okay.
we'll repost it.
Okay, consent item number 8, interlocal agreements to implement adult education and literacy grant award. Okay, then moving on to our action items. Action item number 1, amended schedule of proposed project budgets for 2015 bond projects. Do we have any questions?
Just, does this relate to also the Bel Air Gymnasium? It does, right? Or is it number 4 that we would be covering on this one?
They impact each other,
They
yes.
both impact, right, from
Yes.
what the BC that I read. I just want to make sure the final budget we have right now on number 4, are we pretty sure that's going to be the final cost of the Bel Air gym? Because, well, I think it sounds beautiful, it is getting pretty pricey for a high school gym.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of worried that we continue to move up in price.
The guaranteed maximum price will be $32 million. Anything in excess of that becomes the responsibility of the general contractor.
Okay.
It cuts into their profit.
Okay.
Can you repeat that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Anything that exceeds the $32,098,881 will cut into their profit. But even that is subject to what we call value engineering. So we'll meet with them again and we'll look at the materials that they're proposing, some of the things where it's a little like this. Do you want the Hugo Boss suit or can you work with the, I'm trying to think of a suit that isn't a Hugo Boss suit. Give me a minute. It's been a long time.
Sears, Timmy's.
I don't need any help. Another suit. Or the Target suit. And sometimes the Target suit will look a lot like the Hugo Boss suit. So we may say, you know what, instead of getting these, half-inch tinted glass panels, we'll go with like an acrylic or a poly or something like that. So we're going through all of the materials to see whether or not we can find $1 million, $2 million to reduce the price without jeopardizing the designer's idea.
Okay. I appreciate that.
But it can never exceed the 32.09 because that's already in excess of what we originally budgeted. Now, the nice thing is that we've done so well in all of the other projects on this bond that we do have some residual monies that we can redirect.
Oh, I know. And I guess that was my concern, is that residual money that we have, would it be better used somewhere else other than a gymnasium, which I mean.
No, most of it's like Parkland money, so it's not.
No, and truthfully, I know that was going to come. I don't mean for Parkland money, but I just, well, I see absolutely the value of a beautiful sports complex. This is not a college, this is a high school, and it's one community. And so when we continue to raise the price on it, I almost feel like Bel Air could benefit from other things.
Yeah.
Instead of continuing to add money. Bel Air's a pretty old school. I'm not saying take away the money from Bel Air, but their learning community can maybe benefit from a few million to somewhere else instead of just a gym. That's just me personally.
Now, the one thing that can't happen is that anything that this board presented and proposed to the community has to be built and we have to deliver on that. So the monies that we're pulling to kind of help out with this wouldn't jeopardize any other project in the bond. And you'll still have money at the end to see whether or not you can redirect those resources to do some of the things you described, heating, ventilation, air conditioning at some schools, those type of things. We'll come back to the board and then the board can decide sort of a priority list. So we're just borrowing a little bit at the moment.
That's a good point, though, Richard. I understand your line of thought on that.
I mean, like I said,
You're right.
don't want to take anything away from any of our communities, and I'm not saying take the money away from Bel Air by no means. I'm just saying spread the wealth around to other needs that Bel Air community might need. Instead of
needs a
continuing
lot
to
more
raise the price. That was my only concern.
Eastwood needs another $8 billion.
Exactly. Eastwood needs.
Watch it, buddy. Okay, so we were actually on, we're actually on the number one, I'm trying. Number one, right? Amended schedule of proposed budgets for 2015 bond projects. So anything else on that one?
Did I cover that, Lindley, or you want to just kind of give an overview?
No, sir, you did it perfectly.
Are we, I was just looking at the dollars and cents on the utilities, and I was somewhat impressed. If I
Oh,
can
we're
find
back
that.
to the reports, financial.
Statements under the consent agenda, so it's the very
Oh, okay,
first
did I
item.
pass it? Oh, man.
No, wait,
I like to go back.
there. One more over,
One more, yeah. No,
two more over maybe.
3 more.
Well, it's in this. There you go.
And this is, I hate to go back, but I wanted to touch on this. According to the numbers here, in the electricity, and I guess this reflects our initiative to do what we did earlier in saving 271,000 in electricity. And then you look at the water's went 147. And so anyway, to make a long one, it's about $500,000 of savings. And my point is, I think we need to acknowledge that, and we need to continue finding ways to maintain this kind of approach. We still have, everything's lighted, but we've been saving money on these, and with the understanding that unfortunately, one of these utilities is going to come back within a year and come back and get more money from us. But I commend all of you, Mr. O'Neill, and all your crew, and everyone in the whole system.
That's
Thank
the
you very much.
electric company coming back.
The electric company is another matter.
Would you like to pull that item so that you could make that comment at the?
Yes, I would.
Okay, that's the financial report in the consent agenda. Mr. Rosales wants to pull that so he can make this comment during our meeting.
Okay.
Just to acknowledge, absolutely.
Yes, to acknowledge it. Okay, so let's go on with action item number 2, approval of award of YSD cooperative requisitions for purchase of instructional technology. Action item number 3, approval of award of YSD solicitation number 219005, CSP Construction, Young Women's Leadership Academy renovations, Phase 1. Go ahead, I do too.
On reference the approval of award, have we worked with this company before?
The design team for the Young Women's Leadership Academy, or
The contractor.
The contractor, I'm sorry, the contractor.
who's the contractor?
The company, M&K has worked with them before and has recommended them highly. M&K is the architect on this project. To answer your question, no, we haven't, but she's had great success working with them. And we've questioned her a couple times, so we feel pretty good about it.
Okay, thank you.
I also have a question on this one because of the situation we've run into as far as needing gyms to practice in at Bel Air, and also the different aspects of how, well, the way that we've been actually depending on Hillcrest to help us through this time. I'm wondering what the timeline is going to be on this, because as far as taking those options away from Bel Air. I think that would be a really, really bad move at this point.
Yes, ma'am. What we're gonna do at this campus is it'll be electrical upgrades. We're gonna have to redo some of the science rooms because they're middle school science rooms, and we need them to
absolutely.
become high school labs. We'll do some restroom renovations, and then more in the locker room than we're really gonna do on the gym floor or the bleachers. If we do anything in those two, it'll be done in the spring or the summer.
Okay.
But that'll be the next phase. But right now, in the gym area, all we're talking about is some locker room renovations.
And the cafeteria, because that's where we've got gymnastics.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
have lots of equipment, and
And the coach is very pleased with her situation.
yes, she
in the
loves it. She loves it, but I know that that's going to end.
Yes, ma'am. She knew it was a one-year deal and that will more than likely be moving her to Cadwalder. She's been down
Cadwalder,
there,
okay.
and Cadwalder has locker rooms. It's a smaller floor space, but it'll be able to accommodate her for
Okay.
another year.
Okay. I just want to make sure because the way that it's all kind of playing out right now, I mean, the volleyball team has had to play pretty much all of their games at Hillcrest, and just different, different groups. Basketball's coming up, and I know they're concerned about where they're going to be and what they're going to be able to
Yes,
to
ma'am.
do
and
with their
that's-
kids.
That's the reason we've really been pushing urban hard, because we're about ready to start basketball. So we'd have 6 basketball teams, 3 volleyball teams, and really a gym and a half. But now that the Bel Air gym is open, it's
Right.
available.
Right.
And the volleyball team told us they want to stay at Hillcrest. Even though
It's their
we're-
home court now.
Yeah, they feel comfortable there
All
at
right.
Hillcrest. So they'll finish their season at Hillcrest.
So we've taken all that into consideration as we're starting this.
Yes, ma'am, we've scheduled it, we're ready to go. They've already got practice times, they're ready to hit the ground
Okay.
running.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions on action item number 3? Okay. Action item number 4, approval of award of phase number 4B solicitation bond 22 RFQ Bel Air High School Gymnasium addition and renovations. Okay,
I just want to say that
go ahead.
that was addressed previously, so I had some questions on that, so
But you already have your answers then, or?
that was going to be one of mine.
Okay, all right. Next, closed executive meeting, board self-evaluation, discussion of terms for notice to charter schools pursuant to Texas Education Code 11.1542 of opportunity to offer to purchase Camino Real Middle School following closure. And number 3, discussion with legal counsel regarding the status of litigation and options for resolution in Huerta versus YSD, cause number 2017 DCV 3176. And the action items are in relation to the closed executive meeting. And that's it. Do we have any more questions or comments?
I think we have an error in our process here. I can't see this. Am I reading that right?
Oh, my gosh. It says, compliments of Dr. Michael Zulkowski, Superintendent, Tulsa Public Schools. Tulsa Public Schools. Interesting. Interesting.
Who's the funny guy?
It's from,
my
and it's from
pencil.
Tulsa, too. Oh, no. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Must be boss's day.
I moved that we adjourn.